What's up, you beautiful bastards? Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. Welcome back to the DeFranco Show, and let's just jump into it. And the first thing we're going to talk about today, by far the most requested story of the day today, is the Logan Paul situation. There have been some updates, some new questions posed. YouTube has released an official statement. And if you're not fully familiar with this situation, I highly recommend you watch the videos we did last week on it. But to oversimplify the situation, Logan Paul, one of the largest creators on the platform, put out a disgusting video where he showcased someone who killed themselves. Not only was this person's body featured prominently in this vlog, it was in the thumbnail. Even the title was like, "We found a dead body." The original video, not including re-uploads, got over 6 million views. Most of Logan Paul's audience was completely fine with this video. Most of the community outside of his fans was disgusted. There was a lot of backlash. It became an international story. Many people critical of YouTube for not doing anything. That video that Logan Paul uploaded was top trending on YouTube. It wasn't removed until Logan decided to remove it. Then there was further backlash on Logan Paul just being completely disrespectful in Japan, but the updates really don't have to do with that part. And the first big update I'll talk about with the situation is YouTube's official response. They released this as yesterday's show was going live, writing an open letter to our community. Many of you have been frustrated with our lack of communication recently. You're right to be. You deserve to know what's going on. Like many others, we were upset by the video that was shared last week. Suicide is not a joke, nor should it ever be a driving force for views. As Attn put it perfectly, that body was a person someone loved. You did not walk into a suicide forest with a camera and claim mental health awareness. We expect more of the creators who build their community on YouTube, as we're sure you do too. The channel violated our community guidelines. We acted accordingly, and we are looking at further consequences. It's taken us a long time to respond, but we've been listening to everything you've been saying. We know the actions of one creator can affect the entire community, so we'll have more to share soon on steps we're taking to ensure a video like this is never circulated again. And here's what I'll personally say to this statement. YouTube, I am so tired of defending you. I always tell people YouTube is a massive website. They are trying. There's just so much to handle. But then you are given one of the easiest situations, a singular, obvious, in front of everyone's situation. There's no, well, YouTube's a very large website and there are millions of videos uploaded every second defense here. You had arguably the largest creator on the website putting out a video that had been viewed by millions of people, that was top trending on your website, that no doubt was being flagged constantly by people horrified that this video was showcasing someone who killed themselves. And even then, I would want to try to give YouTube the benefit of the doubt here, but just seeing that line, the channel violated our community guidelines, we acted accordingly, and we are looking at further consequences. You acted accordingly? Is that in reference to you not removing the video, not age gating the video, doing nothing, letting the video stay on top trending? The video only ever being taken down by Logan Paul himself? Which one of those things was YouTube acting accordingly? I can't tell if you're lying and just trying to revise and pretty up history, or you actually think you did the right thing. I think I speak for a lot of creators when I say just own your mistake and move forward. Now, I've heard murmurings in the community that maybe Logan Paul's channel got hit with a community strike after the fact. I have no true confirmation of that. I know YouTube will not confirm or deny that. But even if it came out that that was true, for YouTube to claim this as like a win, we did what we were supposed to do, it's just disgusting. And YouTube, I don't care if just like the last 2 times I criticized you guys in a video, I get demonetized. Oh no, I'm not going to stop. 1, because we get monetary support from our audience under FrancoElite.com. Plug, obnoxious plug. And 2, understand this comes from a place of love. I love YouTube. I want YouTube to be the best possible place because it is the place that I made my career, and it's the place where I want my career to continue to thrive. And finally, on the note of we are looking at further consequences, also we're going to take steps to ensure a video like this is never circulated again. 1, please don't use this as an opportunity to open the door to further cracking down on content like mine or people talking about issues. And 2, in regards to further consequences, I want to point out I'm not part of the delete Logan Paul's channel mob. I'm not, and I'm also not part of the cancel Logan Paul's YouTube Red movie mob. But on that note, no matter their decision there, if they release a statement, I would love the explanation behind their decision and a comparison to the PewDiePie situation. Felix, if you don't remember, lost his YouTube Red series after all those media outlets talked about the Nazi jokes he made. Several of the outlets showcasing some of the attempted jokes just purely out of context. So no matter their decision, I would love to understand their thinking behind their moves. And personally, just based off of YouTube's actions over the past day, I'm incredibly nervous. This YouTuber by the name of Ian Kung, he made a parody of Logan Paul's video. His video showcases a fake dead person and his commentary on using a suicide for views and how it's disgusting. YouTube very quickly removed that video. Along with that, they issued a community guideline strike against Ian, and most likely the video would have stayed down, but luckily there was a lot of community support, people saying, YouTube, this isn't right. The video then gets put back up. Obviously, there are tons of views that are missed out on, and it gives us reason to believe that YouTube will be cracking down on a lot of videos that aren't deserving of it because they're scared. And the last thing I'll touch on with this story is it does appear that Logan Paul will be back very soon. This because Greg Paul, Logan, and Jake Paul's father released a video, and in that video he also also comments on the people that are angry at Logan Paul, referring to them just as haters.
Because, you know what's crazy is the haters think they're having an effect on us, and if the haters knew how much love was out there and how much support was out there, they'd shut their freaking mouths. The haters will never, ever have an effect on the Paul family in the way that they want to make it happen because the love is too strong.
And here's the thing, I agree with Greg and others who have said, you know, Logan Paul made a mistake. Right, people, especially younger people, should be allowed to make mistakes, hopefully learn from it. And if Logan Paul's second apology was legitimate, it was sincere, and it wasn't fake like many people were saying, then hopefully he is actually learning from the situation and can grow as a human being. But it does make me sad to see Greg Paul dismiss the people that are genuinely angry at Logan Paul as just haters. Your son did a disgusting thing, and seeing your reaction to this, it becomes a little more understandable how he ended up here. And I don't mean in the position where he's getting millions of views and tons of money and he's showering you with gifts, but seeing an incredibly popular person in a situation that should have been avoided if they had people around them that said, hey, maybe this is a bad idea. Instead of, yes sir, yeah Logan, that's genius Logan, you're so awesome Logan. We're definitely not just going along with everything you say because we all benefit both in monetary ways, as well as us being able to siphon audience from you. I don't know, just in general I'm tired of the bullshit, but that's where I'm gonna end the story. Of course, this is the Philip DeFranco show, you get the story, you get my opinion, and now I wanna hear from you. What are your thoughts here? Do you think YouTube's statement was empty or was sincere? What do you think should happen moving forward? I'd just love to know your thoughts here. But from that, I wanna share some stuff I love today, and today in Awesome brought to you by Phil.ting.com. Ting, of course, fantastic, no BS fees, sketchy admin charges, contract cell service. It's simple, it's easy, you just pay for what you use. The average Ting customer pays just $23 a month for their one device. So if you want to check out how much you could be saving, want to check out the service, go to Phil.ting.com. If you sign up, you'll even get $25 towards your first device or $25 in Ting credit. And the first bit of awesome is a question that asks, can you guess who owns a dog based on how they and the dog look? Then we got some new bad lip reading awesome, the channel taking a swing at the Trump anthem. Then in Vidya Game awesome, I highly recommend Donkey's Best of 2017 video. Then we got an Honest Games trailer for Sonic Forces. And the final bit of awesome might actually be awesome for you. As many of you know, we've been building out the back end of the company for a while, researchers, support staff. And we've already done some of this quietly, but we are now hiring journalists for on-screen. So if that sounds like you, this is something you're interested in, I'm gonna link down below for instructions on where to submit. And if you wanna see the full versions of everything I just shared, the secret link of the day, anything I talk about today, links as always are in the description down below. And then let's talk about the huge political news coming out of North Carolina. And this is a story that just matters in general, but really matters going into the 2018 election. Yesterday, a 3-judge panel ruled that Republicans in North Carolina unconstitutionally gerrymandered congressional districts. This to make sure they had partisan control of the state's congressional delegation. And gerrymandering, if you don't know, is the practice of drawing district lines with the purpose of influencing an election in favor of one party or class. One of the most recent examples of this we could use would be Alabama. Alabama doesn't even have the worst gerrymandering problem, but you can see that some of the district lines are very weird. And on how it can drastically affect an election, we just look at the Doug Jones-Roy Moore election. Across the whole of Alabama, Doug Jones got the most votes. He beat out Roy Moore. Now, despite the Democrat getting more votes than the Republican, if we took the same votes, if we took all of those same votes and said if you voted for Doug Jones, you're gonna vote for the Democrat. If you voted for Roy Moore, you're gonna vote for the Republican. And we apply all those votes in the 2018 elections where there are 7 seats up for grabs in the House of Representatives. Because of the way districts were drawn by Republicans, they would get 6 out of the 7 seats. So despite having less than 50% of the votes, they get 85% of the power, 85%-ish. 6 divided by 7. It's a real problem because yes, America is not a true democracy, we're a democratic republic. And so you could always argue, yes, we know that every vote doesn't have a one-to-one. And it's just incredibly troubling. I don't care if you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you're whatever. For a large chunk of a population of a state to essentially just not be represented, it's just horrible. It's the further manipulation of a system to make it so that everyone doesn't have an equal voice. And obviously in a democratic republic, it's not about the popular vote, but to manipulate it to this degree is horrible. That's also why this ruling was so massive. This ruling also marks the second time in the past decade that the GOP's congressional boundaries in the state have been thrown out by a 3-judge panel. That previous court had required North Carolina to redraw their maps after judges ruled that the map was unconstitutional because of racial gerrymandering. And in that instance, the court threw out the 2 majority black congressional districts initially drawn in 2011, saying there was no justification for using race as the predominant factor in forming them. But then, of course, the redrawn map became the basis for a new round of lawsuits. And this new lawsuit was filed by Common Cause, the League of Women Voters of North Carolina, and individual voters in the state, alleging that Republican legislators designed the map to retain the majority in the state's congressional delegation. And we now know the federal judges agreed. U.S. Circuit Court Judge Jim Wynn writing in the majority opinion, "We find that the General Assembly drew and enacted the 2016 plan with intent to subordinate the interests of non-Republican voters and entrench Republican control of North Carolina's congressional delegation. We further find that a variety of evidence demonstrates that the 2016 plan achieved the General Assembly's discriminatory partisan objective." And the thing is, it was just an incredibly easy decision for them to make. And one of the reasons it was so incredibly easy for the judges to come to this conclusion is House Redistricting Chief Representative David Lewis openly admitted it. I mean, check this out. This video and audio, it's not from just like a conversation they thought was secret. He openly said these things.
We want to make clear that we, to the extent, are going to use political data in drawing this map, it is to gain partisan advantage on the map. I propose that we draw the maps to give a partisan advantage to 10 Republicans and 3 Democrats, because I do not believe it's possible to draw a map with 11 Republicans and 2 Democrats.
Also adding, I think electing Republicans is better than electing Democrats, so I drew this map to help foster what I think is better for the country. Okay, one main thing I learned from that, never tell David Lewis a secret. I feel like you tell David Lewis a secret and you find out later in the day there is a trending hashtag about your secret. And two, this son of a bitch not only admitted it, he said he only manipulated the system to the point that he did because he couldn't manipulate it more. And as kind of funny as that is, just think also of how horrifying that is. He's openly talking about his support for suppressing votes. The 3-judge panel also ruled the map violated the First Amendment, the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause, and Article 1, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution, which says members of the House of Representatives shall be chosen every second year by the people of the several states. And the judges ordered the General Assembly approve another set of districts by January 24th. And if they fail to do so, or they do it and it is unsatisfactory, a special master will be appointed to redraw the districts. And the time frame is incredibly important here because you have congressional races set for February 12th, primaries for early May, so it's important for these changes to be made quickly. Now, as far as what's going to happen next, this might actually go to the Supreme Court. A spokeswoman for Senate Redistricting Committee Chairman Ralph Hise of Mitchell County said that they will be filing an appeal, which would then kick it to the Supreme Court. And so if this does go to the Supreme Court, they take this case, this could be huge. This case could create a massive new precedent and change how election maps are drawn moving forward. So we'll have to wait and see, and hopefully, whether you're left or right, you see the problem here. And hopefully, because of the steps that have been taken, we are even closer to a solution. Then let's talk about Steve Bannon stepping down from Breitbart. Steve Bannon, of course, was the executive chairman of Breitbart. He left Breitbart to work with Donald Trump. Donald Trump appointed Steve Bannon to be chief strategist, or as he refers to him now, staffer. Bannon, of course, left the White House last year. Seemingly, at least publicly, it seemed that Trump and Bannon were okay. But oh boy, did that change when some alleged Steve Bannon quotes made it out to news. These were released to promote Michael Wolff's new book, Fire and Fury, Inside the Trump White House. Last week, we talked about some of those quotes, some of the highlights. The 3 senior guys in the campaign thought it was a good idea to meet with a foreign government inside Trump Tower in the conference room on the 25th floor with no lawyers. They didn't have any lawyers. Even if you thought it was not treasonous or unpatriotic or bad shit, and I happen to think it's all of that, you should have called the FBI immediately. Bannon then speculating that Trump Jr. had involved his father in the meeting. And you might remember Trump's lawyers responded with cease and desist towards Bannon, Wolff, the publisher. Trump also slamming Bannon in a statement saying when he lost his job, he lost his mind. President Trump also openly calling him Sloppy Steve. And that's how you know when Trump doesn't like you. He hits you with the alliteration. The release of the book gets rushed. All of a sudden there are more quotes out there. There's one where Bannon allegedly says Ivanka Trump is dumb as a brick. Another where Bannon's allegedly talking about money laundering. He allegedly says their path to fucking Trump goes right through Paul Manafort, Don Jr., and Jared Kushner. It's as plain as a hair on your face. And oh, so very quickly it seemed like Steve Bannon did not have as many friends as he thought he did. If you look through the comments on Breitbart, most were throwing Steve Bannon under the bus. Many people saying they support Trump. They voted for Trump, not Steve Bannon. Big dollar supporters reportedly pulled away. And so to everything coming his way from the White House, from Donald Trump, from Breitbart. On his SiriusXM show, Bannon says, the President of the United States is a great man. You know I support him day in and day out, whether going through the country giving the Trump miracle speech or on the show or on the website. Bannon then released a statement apologizing further, in that he doesn't dispute discussing the meeting, but he says his words were targeted towards former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort, not Trump Jr., saying Donald Trump Jr. is both a patriot and a good man. My comments were aimed at Paul Manafort, a seasoned campaign professional with experience and knowledge of how the Russians operate. He should have known they are duplicitous, cunning, and not our friends. To reiterate, those comments were not aimed at Don Jr. I regret that my delay in responding to the inaccurate reporting regarding Don Jr. has diverted attention from the president's historical accomplishments in the first year of his presidency. Which I will say is a weird thing to say. He talked about 3 people taking a meeting. He talks about it being treasonous. Don Jr. was a part of those 3. That backtrack, at least to me, doesn't really make sense. But still, even with that, the news broke yesterday that Bannon had stepped down from his executive chairman position for Breitbart News. And that also meant he lost his hosting spot with SiriusXM since their agreement is with Breitbart, not Bannon directly. Breitbart CEO saying, Steve is a valued part of our legacy and we will always be grateful for his contributions and what he has helped us to accomplish. Now, as far as what happens to Bannon from here, I don't know. Does he start something else on his own? Does he contribute somewhere else? Does he just wait it out? I don't know. But what I do know is I think this is a reality check for anyone that is currently with Donald Trump and thinking of going against Donald Trump. And I think a big part of the story involves the debate and question of, is it really all about Donald Trump or what he represents? And I think this moment shows that a lot of people that still support Donald Trump are of the mindset of you're either with us or you're against us. If you get in the way, regardless of who you are, you're going under the bus. We'll have to wait and see what happens next. And that's where I'm going to end today's show. And remember, if you liked this video, you like what I try and do on this channel, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. That way you make sure you don't miss these daily videos, which actually, if you did miss yesterday's show, you want to catch up, click or tap right there to watch that. Or if you want to watch the newest stupid behind the scenes video, click or tap right there to watch that. But that said, of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.